Welcome to Spiritual Psychic with Sara Wiseman, where you'll learn how to unlock the secrets of spiritual intuition and your own psychic gifts. Here's Sara.
Hey everybody, welcome to Spiritual Psychic with Sara Wiseman. You will find me as always at sarawiseman.com. Today we're going to talk a little bit about an interesting phenomenon in spiritual intuition. A lot of you are real familiar and have had beautiful, deep encounters with your spirit guides. And you've become to rely on this sort of posse of helpers. Sometimes they're angelic beings also. Some of you have those. And then so suddenly you've been going in to work with these same spirit guides, week after week, daily meditation, checking in with them, and you feel them very actively in your life. And maybe you've got a handful. It's normal to have like 3 or 4 working with you at one time. And then suddenly you go into meditation one day and you find that there's been a change of the guard. You find that your spirit guides have changed. And the particular guide maybe that you were most fond of, or were relying on the most, or really identified with the most, is not there, or is just not available to you. And maybe nobody's there in that guide's place, or maybe there's a brand new guide that you don't know and you're not really about. So let's break this down a little bit just as refresher. It all based on some old spiritualist practices as a sort of a choreography of the guides stand and move in a particular position so that it's really easy to figure out who's who. So for example, in my own practice, the way we work it is that your earth guide stands on your left. And this is the guide that is, some people almost sometimes call this like the guardian angel, or in old terms, the guardian angel is maybe what comes to mind. But this is the guide that runs you through all of your life stuff, your job, your money, your health, your body, your relationship, where you live. All these kind of earth things are worked on by your earth guide. That is the mentor or advisor or helper that helps you with earth things. And for most of you, your earth guide is fairly human in appearance, or more human than the others, has a little bit more characteristic, a little bit more ability to communicate with you easily in language or pantomime. Just easy to understand. And this is because they're working in the realm of the earth stuff, so they got to be able to communicate really well in levels that we can understand. And usually the earth guide is somebody that you have, or not somebody, a guide that you have worked with for not just this lifetime, but lots and lots and lots of lifetimes. Like you guys got paired up at the beginning, like the way back beginning. And so now your earth guide is with you, thick and thin. It'd be hard. It would be impossible to get this guide to go away. So that's who's on the left. Behind you is the guide that is spiritual teacher. And these are usually ascended masters or very advanced beings, such as a lot of people have Jesus or Mary, or very tall beings of light, or Kuan Yin, and it's really interesting how some of the religious leaders show up in these positions for a lot of people. Religious leaders often inhabit such a powerfully elevated energy that it's not surprising that even after their passing, we are still connecting to that super ascended energy that they have. So spiritual masters and these guides teach you. They teach you, they help you understand spiritual concepts. They help you elevate from one level of consciousness to the other. And they don't do this in a very earthly way. Sometimes we get things like downloads where we just get a whole lot of understanding all at once. Or sometimes we get healings from these guides where they come in with light and sort of realign or rearrange us. And sometimes we receive pure messaging from them, such as in channeled writing or in channeling. So that is who is in this place directly behind you. And then to the right, we have what I call the mystic guide. And this is the guide that deals with all your relationship to things like psychic ability, the departed, the layers and levels and dimensions that are of the other realms, going into the land of the departed, going into these past lives, other lifetimes, Akashic records. This is the guide that helps you when you're moving in those realms. And so for some people, this guide isn't very active. If you're not interested in, ever looking at a past life or ever doing any kind of transversing into other realms, then this part of your life isn't going to be active. And if you are deeply interested in doing this kind of work, then this is the guide who is going to sort of take you step by step in a very safe way to explore and learn. So the thing about it is sometimes you have these beautiful, the left, behind, to the right, earth guide, spiritual teacher, mystic guide. And sometimes you go and then it's like, oh, my spiritual teachers are different. Or my mystic guide is a new guide. Where is my old guide? And the beautiful familiars are not there. There's a new guide or guides waiting for us. And this often happens when we need help with a specific problem. For example, if you're really deep into, a significant work, work issue, then you might have a guide show up who's some kind of a specialist for you to call upon and to ask for advice. And so sometimes this takes place. You might see a guide show up almost with a clipboard and a checklist to help you stay focused on all the things you're meant to accomplish and to not put it off any longer. And so sometimes you've got this interim guide or specialist guide to take you from point A to point B in something that you're working on. But more likely, when you receive new guides or a new guide, it's because you're moving from one level of understanding to the next. It's almost like you've learned everything you can with the teachers that you had. And now, golly, it's time to graduate and move forward. The former guides have taken you as far as they can or as far as they're supposed to. And now you're going further, and it's time to be handed off to the next group of teachers. And this group can take you to the next level of understanding. And some people, guides take us really far. So it might be in this lifetime, you're going to have the same guides. It might be you've had different sets of guides before you were aware that there were guides. And so now you're going to be stabilized with one group for a while. Or it might be that some different guides are going to come in every year, or, it's hard to say the timing because it's all based on what you're going through. But But in my life, I've had a couple different, the earth guide has always been the same. And then I have different guides come in the spiritual teaching position. And I have had different guides come into the mystic position. And right now, I'm actually in the middle of a guide change, which is why I'm doing this post to help remind folks who are also going through this. So it can be disconcerting. Like you go into meditation, you're like, hey, I'm going to go talk to my familiar guide, and that guide isn't there. And the thing is, like, you can call and call and call, and that guide still isn't going to be there. Your time together is complete. And so this can be sad or unsettling. And you've got this new guide there that maybe you don't know very well, or you don't like that much, or you're just not so sure about, or maybe your spiritual teacher guide was really active, and now the mystic guide is saying, oh, I'm going to work with you for a while. And you're like, I don't even want to work on that path very much, or whatever it is. Or you've been really busy with your spiritual teacher guides and the earth guides saying, hey, let's move out of that realm and let's focus on your earth life. So the way I see it is all of these guides are there, are transcendent beings from higher dimensions and understanding than we live in. They are not our higher self, or they are not our subconscious. They are different energy forms outside of the normal human reality that we see every day. They are from different energy dimensions and consciousness dimensions, and we are so fortunate to be able to cross over to them as they cross to us and receive this kind of amazing support and help. The guides are not God. God is. The guides are beings just as we are. They're just outstandingly farther along the path of consciousness and have reached to help us in the same way that we are hopefully helping and guiding those who are coming along the path behind us. If your guides change, allow yourself to feel the gratitude and sadness for who you worked with and that they're no longer there, and just allow yourself to trust that it's your highest possibility to work with the new guides, and they have lots and lots to show you and teach you. I'm Sara Wiseman. You're listening to Spiritual Psychic, and you can find more at my website, sarawiseman.com, and you can also sign up for Daily Divine, which is a written version of this podcast. Just go to sarawiseman.com and you'll see it right there.
Want more Spiritual Psychic with Sara Wiseman? Tune in for more insightful teachings on intuition, spirituality, and you. Want to contact Sara direct? Visit www.sarawiseman.com.